will be checking out the clock for more than the time remaining in the game. Four frame of Walt Clyde Frazier, and what is that, about 6'8", John?
He would be if he got hit by an NBA cutter. They'd stretch him out.
Well, the Knicks open with Patrick Ewing, Kiki Vandeweghe, and Charles Oakley. Up front, Maurice Cheeks and Gerald Wilkins in the backcourt. And it will be Seattle ball. Derek McKee, who had been playing well for the Sonics, not dressed for the game tonight because of a hip injury. So Eddie Johnson draws the starting assignment for the first time this season. Michael Cage from outside to give the Sonics a 2-0 lead.
It's always a very great disadvantage when your leading scorer doesn't play in the game, and that's the case with McKee. Shade under 17 points a game. They do not have big scorers, except now they do with Ricky Pierce, the only 20-point scorer on the Sonics.
And Sedell Threet, who was a question mark because of a bruised right knee, is in there. Patrick Ewing coming off his 37-point, 15-rebound performance against Atlanta has tied it at 2. Kemp through the foul. He was hit by Oakley. Up front, Eddie Johnson, Michael Cage, and the exciting Shawn Kemp in the backcourt. It's the rookie from Oregon State, Gary Payton, and Sedell Threet. In that earlier meeting in Seattle, Threet had a superb game. He was on fire and finished with 24.
And Shawn Kemp is the new dimension since the Knicks met the Sonics in November in Seattle. When they traded the X-Man, Xavier McDaniel, they opened the door for this guy to step up, and he has done more than that. And he has proven right away that the growing pains won't be as difficult as people might have thought.
Kemp is averaging 15 per game. Here's pressure by Seattle, and Maurice Cheeks just did get it over the timeline. The Sonics with a 4-2 lead. We're just underway at the Garden. Oakley open. And the game is tied at 4. Payton being played by Cheeks. Intended for Kemp, broken up by Oakley.
Gary Payton, one of the nation's most exciting college players last season, has stepped right into this lineup and is a complete player as he was in college.
Eddie Johnson, who usually supplies instant offense off the bench, being guarded by Kiki Vandeweghe. Wild shot. Not a good one with 3 remaining. Actually 5 remaining on the 24.
The presence of Patrick Ewing discouraged any decent shot attempt. Big mismatch now. Vandeweghe with 3 trying to battle him. Knicks can't get him the ball, though.
Cheeks on the rebound and lost it. It'll be Seattle ball. The Seattle Supersonics playing the finale of a 5-game road trip. It's been a rugged road stretch. 10 of the last 12 have been on the road. They have lost their last 3, 4 of the last 5.
Oakley has been victimized twice now in the opening moments by letting Kemp have room and losing track of where the passer was. That was a slam dunk for Shawn Kemp.
6-4 Seattle. Foul called on Cage. Michael Cage has been operating at center, but when Benoit Benjamin reports to the Sonics, and he is scheduled to report tomorrow, undoubtedly he will take over the center slot. Cage can play both forward and backup center. Oakley lost it. And here's Johnson for Threet. Sedell Threet giving the Sonics an 8-4 lead.
There's an example of a turnover turning into points for the other team before you get a shot up. Charles decided to make that move, not regarding where the defender was. He just tried to push the ball in there, and the defender took it away.
Maurice Cheeks drawing the foul. He was hit by Johnson. Eddie Johnson acquired by Seattle from Phoenix, along with 2 first-round draft picks for the X-Man, Xavier McDaniel. That was back in early December.
Sometimes if you hang around the basket and your man has his back to the ball, good things can happen. And if people guard Shawn Kemp that way, as Oakley did, slam dunks will be a regular thing for the Sonics.
7-6. Seattle with the lead. Seattle will be heading home following this ball game. Here's Cage, changed his mind and was able to find Kemp. Another facial. That one rattling the backboard.
Knicks are being presented with a different kind of player. He's not Kevin Gamble. He's not Bernard King. He's much bigger than those guys. But somebody still better put a body on him and knock him down. Otherwise, he will have a ball tonight slamming that ball in.
Shawn Kemp goes 6'10", 240 pounds. Here's Cheeks. Another Knick turnover. That's 4 here in the early moments. 3 from Payton. And Oakley got a piece of it. Sonics 12, the Knicks 6.
They're getting points off turnovers immediately.
Sonics continue to pressure. Maurice Cheeks calling for the timeout. And the Knicks hear it from the crowd. All right, the Knicks remember that double clutch slam dunk through traffic last season here at Madison Square Garden.
There you go.
And in the All-Star Saturday competition, Shawn showed his stuff and finished second in the competition to D. Brown of the Boston Celtics.
How about that takeoff on the side view of Shawn?
Band away, and the Sonics now lead it 12-8.
Eddie Johnson getting a layup that was so incredibly easy. That's embarrassing to the Knicks as a team. I mean, he played zero defense on Vandeweghe, and then he got a layup going at 3/4 speed at the other end.
Sonics have hit 6 of 7 from the field. Nice move by Vandeweghe. Cheeks on the steal. Here's Ewing. Sonics lead at 14-12. Timeout taken by Casey Jones. So the Knicks come roaring back following their timeout. 7:29 left, first quarter. Last night.
Well, Kiki Vandeweghe did the job too, following up a move on Eddie Johnson. He gave Michael Cage a move and a half for 2.
Both clubs shooting well. Sonics with a 14-12 advantage. Payton kept alive. 3. And Ewing on the rebound. Last touched by Seattle. Both clubs remaining the same following the timeout. Knicks at 22-30. They have lost 5 of their last 7. Beaten Tuesday night here at the Garden by Atlanta. So the Knicks are now 11-16 at home. Wilkins and Kemp off the boards. Payton and 3 in the backcourt. Kemp, Johnson, and Cage up front. Kemp.
Now, you know, Marv, that looked like a bad shot. It was like, oh, nothing else to do. And he shot it so comfortably.
I thought it was a very good shot myself. Good judgment. Here's 3 off the steal. Knicks able to get back. Nice pass for Payton. Knicks did get back, but 3 able to locate Payton.
Well, they're not back when a pass comes from outside right underneath the basket like that. They're very inactive defensively. It's all happening inside the foul line with the exception of Kemp's jump shot.
Sonics lead 18-12. And away from Ewing. And the Sonic lead is 4.
Nice quick dish off by Patrick Ewing. You like that awareness when people know what they're going to do with the ball before they get it and are able to do it, particularly big people.
Johnson swinging away. Nice move by Eddie Johnson. And the Sonics lead at 20-14. Quick pace, good shooting here in this opening quarter. Oakley, or rather Wilkins with a risky pass. Here's 3 for Cage. And Michael Cage with his second field goal. Seattle leads by 8.
Boy, their effectiveness in turning turnovers into points is remarkable here in the first quarter.
And Mike's are going. 5:15 remaining in this first quarter. Sonics by 8. Good play. Charles did not like the call. The officials tonight, Jess Kersey with Nolan Fine and Mike Callahan.
Let's watch how high Kemp gets up now with Oakley.
Yeah.
Not impressive.
No.
Not impressive from a standing position.
He put the pressure on him, John. Here's Wilkins cutting it to a 6-point Sonic lead. Kemp had it slapped away. The steal by Cheeks, able to keep the dribble alive, and then in traffic, looking for help, calls a timeout. Good play by Maurice Cheeks, but could not find anyone to give it up. So when we resume, it will be Knick ball. 4:44 remaining in this first quarter, and the Sonics lead it by 6.
Charles.
Has to be a strange feeling, of course. Nothing may happen with the trade deadline at 9, but several Knicks have to be thinking. People like Mark Jackson and Gerald Wilkins, and Kenny Walker and Gerard Mustaf, names that have been circulated. Charles Oakley. This could be the last game I play at Madison Square Garden as a New York Knick. As I say, perhaps nothing will happen. 1 hour remaining. Trade deadline Eastern time at 9. Here's Eddie Wilkins with a rare appearance, checking in for the first time. Did not play against Atlanta, has not played in 5 out of the last 6 games.
You know, Marv, as we analyze the clock going down to 9 o'clock, as Maurice Cheeks steals that ball from McMillan. Oh, what a play. And you wonder, John McLeod usually brings Mark Jackson in at this time of the game with about 3 minutes, 4 minutes to go. And Eddie Lee making an appearance now ahead of Mustaf, which is unusual the way things have been going of late.
We can do some speculating. Also, here's Gerald Wilkins, rebounded by Nate McMillan, who just came on. Ricky Pierce, and the Sonics lead at 28-19. Players' minds can go crazy at this point, but John McLeod had some unusually strong statements to make prior to the game. Statements that he might not have made if he didn't know something was in the wind.
Yeah, he was speaking to the writers as usual before the game and reflecting on the Mark Jackson, or I should say responding to Mark's reactions of late. Mark saying he wants basketball to be fun again. Mickey Vandeweghe with a tough move. And John McLeod listened to that and said, yes, it's not fun for Mark not getting the minutes. He said it's also not fun for me watching him miss 2 foul shots in key moments against the Atlanta Hawks.
Now for McLeod, that's his Kemp, able to whip right by, and the Sonics lead by 9. For McLeod, who is very careful and has been a gentleman right throughout the situation with the barbs being fired back and forth, that's a strong statement concerning Mark Jackson. That's like going right back. And here comes Gerard Mustaf. Now, we may be doing a little bit too much on the speculating end.
He plays well, will get the time. And the record says that's what he does. That's what happened in Utah and happened against Detroit the other day. Played very well in those games.
Knicks go to pressure. They surround McMillan. Gets it ahead. Sonics lead 30-23. Pierce, played by Cheeks. Wilkins got a piece of it. Pierce on the recovery. Ricky Pierce with the deadly touch, called by the coaches an offensive assassin. I think that captures the shooting abilities of Pierce. Minute and a half to go in this first quarter, and the Sonics with their biggest lead of the game. They lead by 9. Nice move. Gerald Wilkins with his second field goal. Seattle 32, the Knicks 25. Dave Corzine, who just checked in, setting the pick. Here's Kemp. And Corzine able to get to it. Nice look. Able to find Eddie Johnson.
Gerard Mustaf had it happen right in front of him.
Dave Corzine has not seen much action recently. Earlier this year, he had knee surgery, didn't face the Knicks in the game in Seattle. Vandeweghe with a three-point attempt.
And I bet for the NBA watchers over the years to hear Dave Corzine's name and see him in the game, I bet more than half of our viewers, Marv, anyone watching this game would say, I was wondering what happened to him.
You think more than half? Huh?
I definitely do. It seems that Dave Corzine has
distance and leads with 8 points. Sonics by 10. It's their biggest lead of the night. 15 seconds to go in the first.
Marv, if we don't see Mark Jackson at the beginning of the second quarter,
he's gone, says John.
We can speculate.
Is that what we're hearing? Michael Cage beat the buzzer. Nice lead from Nate McMillan. And you can hear the reaction of the crowd as the Knicks trail the Sonics after one, 37-25. And that accounted for 16 Seattle points. Corzine firing a brick. He thought he was fouled. Ewing gets it to Jackson. Here's Tucker from downtown. Rebounded by Cage. Minute and a half gone by in the second. Marv Albert with John Andres, Al Troutwood, and Walt Clyde Frazier. Daly. Jackson being played by McMillan. Here's Tucker from three-point land. Off the back tap. Jackson. Sonics lead 40-27. Mark Jackson, who just checked in, scoring his first field goal.
I was asking K.C. Jones before the game about this man, Nate McMillan. Said he's not playing as much as he used to. He was a starter for this team. Had big statistics, beautiful drive, left-handed shot, and a deflection on the inbounds by Nate. He said McMillan's the kind of guy, despite the lack of playing time for him these days, that says, if I get 10 minutes a game and work hard, maybe I'll get 15 minutes. What an incredible professional attitude by Nate McMillan. He said, we don't ever want to trade him. We love this guy.
And he was on the trade block earlier. The Sixers interested in Nate McMillan when Johnny Dawkins went down. Here's Jackson.
I mean, if your coach can repeat a message like that you've given out, hey, if I play 10, I'm thankful. And if I play real hard and play well, maybe I'll get 15 minutes. Wow. What a distorted professional attitude.
Yes. Nate in his 5th year out of North Carolina State. First 3 years in the league, he was among the assist leaders. He is the captain of the Seattle Supersonics. Pierce going behind the back, met by Ewing. Here's Daly. Neither club burning it up here in the second quarter.
Well, when the Knicks have denied them their fast break easy opportunities, it's become a lot tougher for the Sonics.
Tucker. And Trent Tucker hits on his first field goal. Sonics 44 and the Knicks 30. Ricky Pierce has come on to hit 4 for 4 from the field. Don McLeod telling Trent Tucker, get the hands up. Mustaf feeds it out to Wilkins. Pierce with the steal. Loose ball foul on Pierce. Kiki Vandeweghe is back, replacing Gerald Wilkins. Leads with 4. 4 minutes gone by in the second quarter. And the Sonics lead it by 14. Tucker nicely fed by Mustaf.
A lot of fundamental breakdowns by the Sonics.
And Pierce lost it. Last touch by the Knicks. K.C. Jones, who has taken over.
When you consider the success he's had as a player and a coach, could there be anyone in the NBA who wears victory and winning better than K.C. Jones, a humble man?
Well put. Man who began as the play-making guard on Bill Russell's University of San Francisco NCAA championship team back in '55-56. What a run of success. Trent Tucker. Good inside position for Shawn Kemp.
Well, it says a lot about him, too. He was the head of basketball operations for the Celtics. Oh, Kemp getting free again. Payton picking it out, no problem. The Knicks just sleeping. They're not paying attention to the passer, not to mention the cutter.
Sonics 46 and the Knicks 32.
But KC felt out of it as the head of basketball operations, and the competitive spirit still burned, and that's why he's back in the coaching game once again.
Jackson from downtown. And it's good. Mark Jackson with a three-pointer. Knicks wanted a goaltend on that previous attempt. Pierce, Ewing over to help out. Ricky Pierce finally missing a shot. And Jackson bottled up and lost it. Mark Jackson, too much dribble. And Eddie Johnson was able to...
Please use good sense when you drink and know when to say when. A reminder from Budweiser. Well, the Knicks getting back on defense, but not completely. The bodies are there, but their attention span isn't, as Shawn Kemp gets that lead pass from Payton for another stuff for him.
And Shawn Kemp, among recent players to bypass college and make it in the NBA. Moses Malone, Darryl Dawkins, Bill Willoughby. And Shawn, I can recall a fellow kicking back in. Mark played 12 minutes in the first half and hit 4 of 6 for 9 points. 8 minutes to go in the third. The Knicks are down by 9. And we are about 5 minutes away from the NBA trade deadline. Now, we may not have anything to report to you at 9 o'clock. Yet it would still be possible that the Knicks have pulled off a trade, or other clubs around the NBA could have pulled it off, because all they are required to do is to inform the NBA league office before 9 p.m. Eastern time. And if a trade is completed, it's possible the player would not be told until after the game. They would not want a situation where it's reported on television or radio and it leaks to the player sitting on the bench. Now that really could be a difficult situation.
Well, and because of that, there is consideration given to the players, and for that reason, we may, as you mentioned, Marv, hear about it tomorrow, in effect, if there is such a move.
Payton called for the foul to send Mustaf to the free throw line. So Gerard Mustaf is receiving the playing time. He's being rewarded. Outstanding first half, but not a good free throw shooter. Kemp getting it back off that missed reverse. Here is Cage. Payton, Kemp. Sonic lead, 67-56.
So easy for Kemp. No one got in his way.
5 minutes gone by in the third. Wilkins. And Eddie Johnson able to wrestle it free.
Gerald really doesn't use that backboard. That was another instance where the backboard could have become his friend on that jump shot. You don't have to be as delicate with the touch.
Cage misfiring. Payton able to get it back. Gary Payton, first round draft pick, second selection overall out of Oregon State. 3, lost it, able to recapture. 7 on the shot clock. Here's Kemp. And tipped home. Eddie Johnson providing a 13-point lead. A 10-0 run by the Sonics. And a timeout taken by the Knicks. 6:05 left in the third quarter. All right, Trent Tucker is back. Brian Quinnett has come on for the first time. Vandeweghe and Wilkins depart. Here is Ewing. Yes. 13 for Ewing. And the Sonics lead the Knicks 69-58.
Tough job for Michael Cage, who was 6'9", but that was an easy drop step hoop for Ewing.
5:40 left in the third. Cage gets it out for Pierce. Just checked back in. He hesitated. Not able to hit from downtown. Mustaf for Jackson. Nice lead for Tucker. 69-60 Seattle. Payton played by Jackson. Quinnett trying to front Johnson. Three on the 24. Kemp. Well, he's been off after the good start. Jackson foul. Payton called for the foul, and there you have it. NBA trade deadline has passed. And that apparently the traditional official indication, John. There you heard it. The electronic wizard pulling out all the stops, sparing no expense. These people want credit for Joe Whalen of our staff, along with Howie Singer and Bobby Lewis. Share the blame, or the credit for that effect. Very nicely done. And that will be the traditional sound you will hear from now on, John, around the NBA at trade deadline time.
From the trading abbey, the sound of the gong.
Timeout taken by the Sonics. We'll be right back. Knicks with Ewing, Mustaf, and Quinnett up front. Jackson and Tucker at the guards. And Ewing kicks it out. Good play by Payton to knock it away.
Well, Payton, one of the few rookies to come into the NBA with defense in his repertoire. That's what people talk about when they mention Gary Payton's name, and that was an example of his heads-up play, forcing that Knicks turnover.
Well, the NBA trade deadline has come and gone. Eddie Johnson, 73-62. And we do not know whether the Knicks have or have not made a deal. Now, it's possible they have, and we're at least trying to find out the information as to whether they have made a trade. We may not be able to provide the specifics because the players will not be told if it is a player or players until after the game. On the other hand, it's possible that nothing has been done. And again, the Sonics to the line. Quinnett called for the personal, and Eddie Johnson, or rather Ricky Pierce, will go to the line. Now, Brian Quinnett getting the playing time along with Gerard Mustaf. It is easy and perhaps unfair to speculate as we see Knick players who are being used and not being used. Maurice Cheeks checking back in, but Charles Oakley sitting for a long time, and we checked with the Knick bench, and we're told that he is fine physically. Did not play well defensively at the start against Shawn Kemp, and John McLeod went with the rookie Gerard Mustaf, who did play well, but Oakley is sitting down for quite a spell.
Unusual. Ricky Pierce and Eddie Johnson playing together. So many times coaches coach by formula. Now here's two guys who are perceived as sixth men, off the bench players, and K.C. Jones is playing them together. And we asked him before the game about that, and he said, I like what I see in both players. So I think I have a much better team, a stronger team with both of them, and he's going with the both of them.
Another Knick turnover. And once again, the Knicks hearing the boos. Knicks with their 7th turnover of the third quarter. They have committed 18 for the ball game.
Ricky Pierce having a tough time with Mark Jackson. He's posting up Jackson. The Sonics are not finding him, though.
Kemp, 24-second buzzer going off. Jackson taking that pass from Ewing. 75-64, Seattle. Second meeting of the season between these two clubs. Knicks winning in Seattle back in November. In overtime, the Knicks have won 3 of the last 4 against the Sonics. Here's Pierce from inside. And he's fouled.
Pierce, playing as a guard, came over half court and then headed right down to the low post area. He's very frustrated because his teammates are not getting him the ball down there. He's got Mark Jackson on him, and he wants to use his 6'4" height advantage and strength over Mark Jackson, but it does him no good if his teammates don't get him the ball.
Now Charles Oakley checking back in. He has played only 11 minutes this evening. Patrick Ewing will get a rest. Ewing 13 points, 14 rebounds, so it's must-stop with Oakley as the big man, and the Knicks stay with the 3-guard alignment. Tucker called for the foul.
So much of John McLeod's philosophy of you play well, you get time, has been directed at the guard positions, but perhaps he's turned that into Charles's position tonight. Got off to a very slow start mentally defensively, and maybe he's sitting down or has sat down because of that. Best way to shake up a player who's used to starting is to sit him.
Payton. And Oakley on the rebound. We're coming up on 2 minutes remaining in the third. Mustaf hit by Kemp. That's 3 on Shawn Kemp.
Kemp has had foul problems the last 2 games. He's had 11 fouls called against him. And as a young big man, that will be one of his things he has to.
I would say about 50% of our viewers were curious.
I agree.
Dave Corzine has made it back from knee surgery. Ricky Pierce going the distance as Shawn Kemp able to finish it off.
I asked Casey Jones before the game who he would most compare Kemp to and his skills, his unbridled energy. He said Dominique Wilkins.
Shawn Kemp grew 4 inches between the 8th and 9th grades. Off the steal, here's McMillan and Payton. So the Sonics now lead it by 13. Altogether, Kemp grew 13 inches in 15 months. His physical tools are exceptional. The only apparent
24 points, 13 rebounds. He sizzled from the beginning, and the Sonics rolled after the pace he set. Shawn is with us now at courtside. Shawn, the performance in tonight's game, is it indicative of how you've been freewheeling and feeling comfortable on the floor since this team traded away Xavier McDaniel?
Well, I think so. I think as a team, we've been playing well. I think, you know, we have been playing ball very smart during the stretch of the games, and I think that's why we've been losing by the 3 and the 4 points.
Shawn, a year ago, we had a chance to see you out on the coast. You played very well against the New York Knicks, and it was at that time that we said, boy, this is somebody who's really going to make a quick mark in this league. Now you've proven it true. What are some of the nicest things that people have said about your quick adaptation into this league?
Well, I think, you know, for me, the successes came really from hard work after practicing and from the coaches. They put a lot of time with me after practice, working on different techniques that I would have had during college. And I think those are paying off with the little quick moves inside and the pump fakes and things like that. I think those are working for me right now.
Shawn, from the moment that the Sonics signed you to that long-term contract, you know that they were making a major commitment to you. But did they say anything special, or did you have any special feelings knowing that when they traded away Xavier McDaniel, it meant that you were going to be starting?
Well, yeah, I think so. I think they're supporting me.
The dunks aplenty. You remember All-Star Saturday, too, when he finished second to D. Brown. Watch some of these blazing dunks, Shawn. Tell me how you dream them up as the game goes on.
Well, there I just went over Patrick. Actually, he blocked the ball, but I was able to switch hands and put it down with the right hand there. This one, I just was able to pump fake Charles and took him in and put it down. You know, I think really just using quickness and having the ability to pump fake the guys and go around them and then just jump and put it down is really working out for me.
What is your dunking fantasy?
Well, I think for me, you know, I'll go back this summer and work on it and try to come back and win the Slam Dunk Championship next year. But once I get the ball inside, I'm going to try to dunk it usually, especially if someone's down there. My favorite dunk is to dunk over somebody, so I enjoy that, and my teammates enjoy seeing me do it.
Now, we know that you've injured your head jumping up near the rim and hitting it, so please be careful up there. Shawn Kemp, thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Shawn Kemp tonight, outstanding tonight, and tonight's Seattle Supersonics win against the Knicks. Spears, for that Beechwood Age clean, crisp taste, nothing beats a Bud. The dunk of the game was presented by the man we spoke to just a moment ago, 21-year-old Shawn Kemp from Elkhart, Indiana, clapping at his own efforts, and Madison Square Garden fans have seen many a dunk from him, not only tonight but a year ago. We'll take a look quickly at the Nobody Beats the Wiz NBA update scoreboard. You can see that the Knicks got lucky as far as the last playoff spot is concerned in the Eastern Conference as the Bullets lose to